Wednesday evening in the sports hall at Holyrood School. The members of the club are warming up, ready for their training session. Fencing's a sport which requires skill, balance and timing. Constant practice is needed if they are to do well in competitions. But the club has the advantage of being coached by the Scottish team manager, though at the moment they're concentrating on one aspect of the sport.
Yeah, it's still predominantly a foil club. Over the last 4 or 5 months we've introduced épée as well. We've brought in another coach, Gavin McMenemy, who's working with our little group of épéists and already starting to produce some good results.
He's keen to stress the importance of being inclusive. The club went out and bought the necessary equipment when their first wheelchair member joined. It
does require a bit of forethought by the club to actually make wheelchair fencing possible. When we first started and Karen arrived at the club, we didn't have any of the equipment that you would need to do it ideally. So we didn't have things like a wheelchair frame which locks the frame in place and stops the fencers from falling out. But we've got one of those now. It means that we can cope with providing wheelchair fencing at full speed and the full sort of range of movement and commitment that a good level of wheelchair fencing demands.
Karen has cerebral palsy. She says she's tried a number of sports, but this was the first which really kept her interest. And it has other benefits as well.
I'm not dropping as much, for example, so my muscle tone's obviously getting better with obviously doing something that's really kind of straining at times, but also good for the stamina. So I've found it overall really beneficial for my health. And obviously, it being a mainstream club, you're fencing people of all different abilities and ages, which also helps because you're just getting that variation of ability as well.
Oh, off target. Ready? Fence.
There are some differences between wheelchair fencing and other forms of the sport.
In wheelchair fencing, you are fixed and it's a lot more about your accuracy and point control. So that can be quite interesting when you're fencing an able-bodied person and they're sitting in the wheelchair because they just look absolutely terrified.
It's a great sport for your coordination. It requires fine motor skills to control the blade. For able-bodied fencers, full range of movement, and for wheelchair fencers, again, it encourages that extra sort of range of movement that you wouldn't get doing a lot of other sports. You have to lean forward to make your attack, be able to lean back out of the way to avoid being hit. So it has the same sort of demands on it as for a wheelchair user as it does for an able-bodied user.
They're both keen for other wheelchair users to join the club. Later this month, members of Salle Holyrood will join others in an international match against Poland. It's not expected to be easy.
It should be a fantastic event. Poland are an incredibly strong team. They were 4th at the World Championships last year. Their fencers that are coming over to fence Scotland for the first time are effectively sort of household names in Poland. And for them to come over here to fence us is superb. I mean, I can hardly wait for them.
Scotland's not expected to win this time, but with such growing numbers of young enthusiasts taking up the sport, things can only get better.